This is Eileen McMenamin coming from Tulane University from the Bipartisan Policy Center's 4th Annual Political Summit. I'm joined by Brett O'Donnell, who is a Republican strategist. He worked with Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann this year earlier as chief strategist for her campaign when she was running for the GOP nomination. He's also worked for Senator John McCain. We got a little bit of time to reflect since Tuesday. What do you think the Republican Party needs to do to broaden its appeal, broaden its base?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, I think, Kathy McMorris Rodgers said it really well over the weekend when she said that the Republican Party needs to modernize, not moderate. So we can still have a core set of principles. We certainly don't need to become Democrats to move forward. But I certainly think we need to broaden our appeal and broaden the group of people we're appealing to. So I think, first of all, that begins with fixing the economy. The American people elected two powers. They gave the House to the Republicans, but they also gave the Senate and the presidency to Democrats. And what we need to realize is that they expect us to work together to fix the economy. We haven't been doing that very well. And I think if we would do that, we'd get a lot of credit. Yeah. The second thing is, I think we've got to broaden the message to who we're talking to. And I think in particular that's to the Hispanic population. You know, we for 12 years have been self-inflicting wounds through demagoguery, and it's time to stop that and to really broaden our appeal to let people know we are a party that believes in immigration, legal immigration, and that we're going to offer a pathway forward to fix the problems that we have with immigration.
And do you think that the leadership of the Republican Party is ready to go in that direction? I mean, maybe it's just sheer necessity and demographics and the changing voter population in the nation, but do you think that they're sort of ready to move in that direction?
I absolutely do. I think you saw Speaker Boehner this past week signal that he is ready to talk with the president to come to a deal, hopefully a grand bargain, a deal that would fix the entitlement programs that need to be repaired to sustain them over the long haul, to fix the economy in the short term, to really overhaul the tax brackets, overhaul the tax system, spending. So I think there was some signal there that he's willing to negotiate and work with the president. So. And
you mentioned, Brett, reaching out to sort of a different audience as well. So we're talking about young Republicans. How do you reach them when they have a very different view of social issues than, say, the old guard of the party? How do you fix that?
Well, I think, one of the things that Republicans have stood for is limited government. And we need to actually stand for limited government. That means getting government out of some of the issues that really should be devolved down to the states. And that may be on some of the social fronts. So, I think we'd have a real debate with Democrats if we could say we really do stand for limited government and have a debate about the role of government. I think that would broaden our appeal.
And in terms of the presidential race, you took part in the primary process and the many debates that Republicans had during the Republican primary. Yeah. What did that process say in terms of, I think at the end of the day, Mitt Romney ended up being probably pushed further to his right than he had ever imagined. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we've got to fix our primary process, in my opinion. We are letting basically two states drive our nominee, and one state in particular. And we really need to fix the process so that Republicans don't spend their time seeing who can be the most conservative and really narrow down their audience and their appeal in order to win a Republican primary. We've got to make sure that we have a primary process that is representative of the entire party, not just a very slim segment of that party.
And do you think that the party is willing to hear that lesson, or are they going to go the other way and say, actually, our candidate wasn't conservative enough?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months, but I do think that, when you're faced with a near-death experience, like Republicans were this time, they'll start listening to reasonable voices within the party, and I just don't think it's a reasonable assertion to make that we weren't conservative enough.
All right, well, we're all for reasonableness here at the Bipartisan Policy Center, so thank you for that plug. And thank you for watching Bipartisan Debrief.